The insanity involving Dennis Rodman in North Korea continues. He and some NBA players from the United States played against the national team in North Korea, and this was all part of Kim Jong-Un's birthday celebration. Now, while that all happened, and of course there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, especially after Rodman went crazy during a CNN interview, he did speak to Sky News and he said, "I think this is a very historical day today for everyone in the world to see that we can coexist with each other." Okay, that's interesting. Well, not only does he want to coexist with Kim Jong-Un, he also wants to sing to him for his birthday. Take a look.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That is the antithesis of the Marilyn Monroe JFK birthday thing.
Yeah, ooh. I mean, that was revolting on so many different levels. It was stomach churning. He wanted to prove that we can coexist. Did anybody really believe that if an American and a North Korean got into the same room that we would both explode? No, we know we can coexist. And there's a proper way of doing diplomacy. I don't think that was it. Going and singing happy birthday to a dictator that imprisons hundreds of thousands of his own people for political reasons in brutal concentration camps. Oof, I don't know what I felt worse about, Dennis Rodman doing that horrible singing, or the other guys that went with him applauding, and as I saw them like clapping along, I was like, that is about the worst propaganda I've seen, man.
That's all he's being used for at this point, a tool for North Korean propaganda, and it's terrible. Now, we've gotten a lot of feedback from the story. We covered it yesterday, and some people are like, well, Dennis Rodman has been really nice in the past. Who cares what he's done in the past? We're talking about the specific story, and what he's doing right now is so irresponsible because he's not educated on the facts. He's pretending as though Kim Jong-Un and the way people are treated in North Korea is totally fine. You don't want an American on the record saying that, hey, you know what, they're good people. Let's start discussions, and we should start discussions. But Dennis Rodman should not be the person who initiates those discussions, right? Yeah. And I don't even think it's going to lead to any type of productive conversation between U.S. leaders and North Korean leaders.
Yeah, look, first of all, he's creating a false equivalency. We've now begun a discussion like he begins a debate about well, is Kim Jong-Un a good guy or a bad guy? No, that's not a debate. I'm not interested in having that debate with idiot Dennis Rodman, okay? We know he's a bad guy. That doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to him. It's even dumber to take the Dick Cheney route and say we don't talk to evil, right? So should our diplomats be talking to North Korea? Of course they should. But how does Dennis Rodman help that? Were the diplomats of President Obama like, oh no, we can't coexist with them. We're not going to talk to them. Oh my God, Dennis Rodman talked to them. It turns out it's okay. We're going to go in. That's not what's happening. Our diplomats aren't stupid. They were talking to them in the first place anyway. It's not the Bush years.
Yeah.
And by the way, even the Bush years, they got to deal with North Korea. It was actually one of the better things that they did. So this serves no useful purposes.
Now, Greg Anthony wanted to defend Dennis Rodman during an interview on CNN. Let's take a look at what he has to say, and then we'll discuss whether or not he makes some legitimate points.
I probably would not have gone. But again, so should we now, at least that's what I thought we were talking about.
Yeah.
Most of us in America talk about trying to reach out and extend a hand to try to start a conversation. I know our president has done that and talked about it over the course of his tenure in office. And so, to me, I think that's some of where this was going. Now, having said that, did they handle this as well as they could have? Absolutely not. But I don't think these guys are ambassadors or diplomats and should be therefore ridiculed or persecuted.
And we know what's happening in North Korea, and then when you're
we know what's happening in America, don't we?
Sure, we're talking about North Korea because Dennis Rodman's over there.
Well, yeah, but people come to America all the time, and last time I checked, Guantanamo Bay is still open. Aren't we holding people in Guantanamo Bay for the last 12, 13 years, and we have not charged them?
But they're not playing a game of basketball in Cuba.
Well, but people are coming from other parts of the world. We take in readily people from Cuba, who we've had difficult relationships with, and all other walks of life. Shouldn't we be the ones who are a little bit more compassionate? And again, I'm not blaming us.
Look, I like what Greg Anthony is saying in part. I mean, look, we got our own problems, right? And he said, so you're clear on it, he's like, look, we're not charging the guys at Guantanamo Bay. We haven't tried them in over 12 years. So one of the complaints against Kim Jong-Un is, well, with Kenneth Bay, he's putting him in jail for 15 years, and he hasn't even told us what the charges against them are. Well, we've been doing that for 12 years, and by the way, we say we can do it to anybody we like, right? So that's a problem. Now, do we have concentration camps like Kim Jong-Un does? No, we don't.
Some of those camps have between 100,000 to 200,000 people doing back-breaking labor.
Right, and the fact that America does some things wrong, which it most certainly does, we point out quite often here in an effort to fix it, doesn't mean that it excuses what Kim Jong-Un does. And again, we don't need Dennis Rodman to tell us that we can talk to North Korea. We already have diplomatic channels with North Korea. We already are talking to them. So his added value is absolutely nothing to us. His added value to Un is great propaganda, in which John McCain recognizes, and here's what he said about this.
I think he's an idiot. I think he's a very person that of not great intellect, who doesn't understand that he really does provide propaganda for this very brutal, ruthless young man. Look, in one way, it's almost comic, but on the other side of it, it really does enhance his prestige with his people, and he's one of the guy runs a gulag of 200,000 people that's full of unspeakable cruelty. And so, and he also has missiles and nuclear weapons. So it isn't a child's game here.
All right, I'll say for the millionth time, if it turns out Dennis Rodman and all the other guys with him now, Vin Baker and Charles Smith and all those guys, were actually collecting intelligence for the American government, useful intelligence we use against the North Koreans to help the North Korean people, then okay, I get it, right? If we find that out 2 years, 5 years, 20 years from now, then bless their hearts, okay? If we don't find that out, then this was a sickening piece of self-promotion by Dennis Rodman and the others, done to enrich themselves, that didn't help us at all. And like I said right from the beginning, it's revolting.